Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Carolina Panthers Talk, brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram, coming at you once again here on the U to the Tube. All right, folks. The official Carolina Panthers 53-man roster of 2021 is now finalized and in the books. So let's go ahead and let's run down the list, the 53-man roster. As of today, as of the deadline today, let's go through this roster. Alrighty. I'll also put a link in the description box of the roster as well. Alright, let's get started. So, our quarterbacks. Only two, which are Sam Darnold and PJ Walker. So they ended up cutting Will Grier. I was a little surprised. I really thought they were going to end up keeping three quarterbacks because I honestly felt like Will Grier did enough to save his job, but apparently not so. But looks like they're comfortable going with two. And PJ Walker backing up Sam Darnold, I like PJ Walker. I know a lot of people are kind of half and half on PJ Walker and even on Sam Darnold. But these are our two. And it sounds like if something were to happen with Sam Darnold, they're confident enough in PJ Walker that he can take over for Sam Darnold. So, I mean, it's just one of those things where Will Grier just was never able to pass PJ Walker. Not saying that he had a terrible camp for preseason, but it just looks like overall Will Grier was not going to end up passing PJ Walker. So that's how it is. But Sam Darnold, PJ Walker are our quarterbacks. Okay, let's look at the offensive line. So we're keeping 9. Cameron Erving, Pat Elflein, Matt Paradis, John Miller, Taylor Moton, Trent Scott, Dennis Daly, Deontay Brown, and Brady Christensen. Now, it seems like it's gonna be really interesting to see what this starting offensive line is looking like, but I guess it seems that they're going to be settled on Matt Paradis at center. You got Pat Elflein and John Miller as the guards, and Cameron Erving and Taylor Moton as the tackles. But, I mean, it seemed like Deontay Brown and Brady Christensen had some great camps overall, but they are rookies. But I don't know. I think it's definitely two people to keep an eye on because they had such great camps. But I think this is going to be one of those situations where the coaches are going to see how this offensive line does, maybe in the first 2 to 3 games, and then make whatever necessary adjustments. But I mean, this is our offensive line. It'll be interesting. I mean, on paper it doesn't look impressive, but I mean, this is the O line. That's all I can really say. I can't really be super excited about the O line, and I don't want to be super down on them. But I'm gonna just wait and see what they how they do, especially in this first game against the Jets. All right, let's look at the wide receivers. We're keeping 6. DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, Terrace Marshall Jr., David Moore, Brandon Zylstra, and Shi Smith. Honestly, I would have kicked Brandon Zylstra and I would have kept CJ Saunders, personally. And, they had David Moore running some, punt and kickoff returns, which honestly, I don't think he's the ideal player to do that. I would have went with CJ Saunders. I would have honestly went with CJ Saunders for kickoff return and even punt return, unless they want to. Like, I would have went with Trenton Cannon and CJ Saunders on kickoffs, and then they can decide who to put at punt return. Which, I mean, CJ Saunders has played some punt return, so I mean, I don't know. That's who I would have went with. I wouldn't have kept Brandon Zylstra, although he is known to excel in special teams, so they probably mostly kept him for that. So figures, but I think we got a good, solid wide receiver core. With DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, Terrace Marshall leading the group, and then with David Moore and hopefully Shi Smith can play as soon as possible. He's pretty much nursing a shoulder injury, but it's always going to depend on the severity of that injury. So we'll see if he ends up going on injured reserve or seeing how severe the injury is. I think that's something that we're still waiting to hear about. But I think we have a solid wide receiver core. So Sam Darnold really has no excuse as far as weapons, especially in the air. Robbie and DJ are a great 1-2 combo. Terrace Marshall Jr. had a great preseason, so he's definitely showing that he can play. He's one of the top-rated rookie wide receivers so far, so he's bringing it. David Moore is another veteran. And, Shi Smith, we've seen flashes of Shi Smith. Great hands, great speed. That's why I'm hoping that he can return and be healthy. I think he can be a great addition and really help this wide receiver core. And like I said, Brandon Zylstra, I assume, is mainly going to be special teams. Okay, tight ends. So they're going to keep 5 tight ends. They're keeping Dan Arnold, Ian Thomas, Tommy Tremble, Colin Thompson, Giovanni Ricci. Now, I'm pretty sure Giovanni Ricci is mainly going to be used as a fullback. Although sometimes I think Tommy Tremble will as well, but I think Giovanni Ricci, since we're not keeping a fullback, I think he's mainly going to be in that fullback spot. Probably the whole entire time. But, Tommy Tremble had a great preseason. Of course, Dan Arnold, he's got a handful of catches, and Ian Thomas showed up a little bit, but I really feel like we're going to be seeing a lot of those 3 that I named. Probably not so much of Colin Thompson, but looks like we're probably going to see multiple tight end sets. And with Dan Arnold, Ian Thomas, Tommy Tremble, who knows? They may can work with that. They may can seriously work with that. But Giovanni Ricci, mainly fullback. And then let's look at the running backs. So we're keeping 3. Of course, Christian McCaffrey, Chuba Hubbard, and Trenton Cannon. Now, not overall what I was expecting, but I understand. Because unfortunately, Rodney Smith and Reggie Bonifant been dealing with injuries, and Reggie Bonifant hasn't been healthy in a couple of seasons. So I'm not surprised that he got let go. And Rodney Smith was just another one just dealing with injuries. Trenton Cannon, like I said, he can come out of the backfield. He can also be that returner role. But primarily, Chuba Hubbard is going to be the man to back up Christian McCaffrey. And I think that is a good choice. Chuba Hubbard had a pretty good preseason. He's got to work on his hands, though. Got to work on making those catches in the flats, those checkdowns. He's got to be able to make those catches. But I think Chuba Hubbard will do just fine backing up Christian McCaffrey. All right. Defensive line. This is overall defensive line. 10 guys. So this is Brian Burns, Daquan Jones, Derek Brown, Morgan Fox, Marquise Hayes, YGM, Yetur Gross-Matos, Daryl Johnson, Bravion Roy, Davion Nixon, Phil Hoskins. I mean, even with the inclusion of Daryl Johnson, this is a pretty deep. This is a pretty deep defensive line. I definitely like what we have here. I think these 10 are a good batch of 10 that I think can really wreak some havoc. And I really hope it goes well. I can't really complain about a single one of these. I can't. You know, we got a young group, a lot of potential. I like this D line. I do like this D line. Got a lot of depth, and I think this is good. I think this is good. All right, let's look at linebackers. So 6. Shaq Thompson, Jermaine Carter, Hassan Reddick, Frankie Louvu, Julian Stanford, Clay Johnston. I was kind of surprised that they didn't keep Josh Bynes, especially with his experience. Clay Johnston was kind of a surprise. Was kind of a surprise. Julian Stanford, Frankie Louvu, definitely agree with. Frankie Louvu has had a great preseason, and he definitely deserves to be on this team. Some folks say even as a starter, but I don't know. I wouldn't jump that gun. But definitely deserves to be on this team. Hassan Reddick, which I figure he's gonna get some experience, or not experience, get some reps at the D line as well, as a edge rusher linebacker combination. Jermaine Carter looks like he's gonna get his chance starting at that middle linebacker role, so hopefully he can really live up to it. They didn't keep Christian Miller. Not really surprised. I mean, he hasn't really done anything, especially being that he also opted out of last season. Christian Miller just hadn't really done anything, so I'm not surprised. But we'll see what we can do with this linebacker core. But let me see. Okay, cornerbacks. We're keeping 4, and if you ask me, I think this is potentially a solid 4. So we're keeping J.C. Horn, Dante Jackson, Keith Taylor, Stanley Thomas Oliver III. Now, A.J. Bouye is there, but also remember, he's got to serve a 2-game suspension. And he doesn't count toward this 53-man roster, but he does have a 2-game suspension. So just know that they have to make a decision once he does return. So I mean, it's gonna be interesting. But I think when he returns, I could see probably Keith Taylor maybe move to practice squad. But I definitely wouldn't get rid of Keith Taylor. I think putting him to practice squad, I think would be fine. And Stanley Thomas Oliver III, I thought he had a good preseason. I think he has the potential to be a future star in due time. But yeah, Dante Jackson, J.C. Horn. These are going to be the go-tos. And in these first 2 games, you know, Keith Taylor, Stanley Thomas Oliver III are going to get their shot as well, I would imagine. But definitely A.J. Bouye will be in the mix come game 3, week 3 of this season. All right, going to the safeties. So we're keeping 5. Jeremy Chin, Justin Burris, Sam Franklin, Miles Hartsfield, and Sean Chandler. Chin is definitely obvious. And it looks like, according to here, they're going to have Miles Hartsfield play some nickel while AJ Bouye is out. But Justin Burris and Jeremy Chin, of course, free safety, strong safety combo. Sam Franklin, I think Sam Franklin's still pretty solid. Sean Chandler, he's done decent. He's done decent. So I'm not surprised that he made the cut. But sounds like Miles Hartsfield's gonna get his shot playing at that nickel position. And then the specialists. Of course, our kicker, Ryan Santoso. Punter, Joseph Charlton. Long snapper, J.J. Jansen. So they ended up letting go of Thomas Fletcher, who was dealing with injury. But, one more round of J.J. Jansen it is. But they do have Ryan Santoso as their kicker, but they're not 100% settled in on him. According to this article, they still want to see some things before fully committing to him. So we'll have to see how he does, maybe in these first 2 games. But yeah, they're not 100% banking completely on Ryan Santoso. So something to keep in mind. All right. But overall, there was a few surprises, but overall, this 53-man roster makes sense. It makes sense. It definitely makes sense. But this is what we're looking like going into the regular season. Still got another week because first game isn't until next Sunday. But we'll see what happens between now and next Sunday. But still got a lot to prepare for. Still got a lot to work on and finalize as they get ready for opening day against the New York Jets, which I still stand strongly that we have no business losing to. But anyway, that's your 53-man roster. Let me know what y'all think. Like I said, I'll put the links to the articles. I'll put 2 links in there. I'll put the breakdown link of the 53-man roster, and I'll also put the photo links of the 53-man roster. But anyway, let me know what y'all think. Do y'all agree with this 53-man roster? If not, what changes would you make? What positions stood out to you more? What surprised you about this 53-man roster? Let me know what y'all think. Like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you won't miss a video. Thank you so much for watching. This has been another episode of Carolina Panthers Talk, brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming. I'm Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. Hope you all have a blessed evening. See y'all soon. Peace.